Hey, I'm Aja A, and welcome to Sunshine Haze. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have listed down in the description box, and if you like the video, please give me a little thumbs up. If you have any questions after the video is over, feel free to drop them down below. I try to respond to everyone. And if you all know people interested in astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever I'm talking about on this channel, go on and send them this link. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And of course, thanks for tuning in and rocking with me. May this info help y'all live your best lives. Peace. Hey y'all. Welcome back to SunshinehazeCo. I'm Aja A, and I am here to drop a video in the retrograde series. Yes, we are back in the retrograde cluster. We're in the retrograde cluster of 2021 and 5 universal years, so it's probably going to be slightly wild. But today I'm talking about Saturn retrograde. So Saturn retrograde, Saturn is not a personal planet, so we're not going to feel the effects like Mercury, but we are still going to see and feel the effects over the course of time. So that's I still want to give you guys a little bit of insight into those energies. Saturn is the second retrograde to join the cluster following Pluto, and then we'll have Mercury coming in right after Saturn. So let's get right into it. For those of you guys that are just now getting into the astrologies, what is a retrograde? A retrograde is actually an optical illusion. People believe it's when a planet is moving backwards, but that's actually not the case. It's when a planet stops and moves back over spaces that it's already moved over. If you want a visual, it's kind of like making a Z motion, so the planet will be moving forward and it stops, then it goes back over these spaces, then it's going to stop and station direct and go back over these spaces, which that's considered the shadow period. And once it passes the space that it went into retrograde in, then we consider that it is out of retrograde period. So when we're dealing with retrograde energy, it's really this energy of taking a moment to stop and go over everything that we've done, taking a moment to stop and reflect, and then come up with ways to correct or fix the things that we've been working on so that they can actually play out to be successful or bring us abundance or reach the goals that we've put in place for ourselves. So over the next 5 months, we're going to be dealing with that retrograde, reflect, and correct energy coupled with Saturn energy, okay? And Saturn retrograde is going to be in Aquarius this time around. I did put up a video a while ago when Saturn first went into Aquarius, talking about what that means for us as a collective and on an individual level. If you are interested in that video, you can find it linked down below in the description box. I'll probably also have one of those little card things pop up here on the video for you guys to see. Just click on it. But I would suggest actually watching that, because I go into depth about what Saturn energy is and how, coupled with Aquarius, what that's going to mean for all of us, again, on an individual and a collective level. And Aquarius is the water bearer, by the way. So Saturn retrograde starts on May 23rd. I don't know what day that is. What date is that? That's a Tuesday? No, this is Sunday. May 23rd is a Sunday. So Saturn retrograde starts on Sunday, May 23rd, and it'll be going retrograde in 13 degrees, and it'll be ending on October 10th. I don't have the day for y'all as far as I'm concerned right now. But it'll be ending in 6 degrees on October 10th, okay? So we're dealing with a time frame of roughly 5 months here. Saturn in Aquarius, for those of you guys that don't know what Aquarius energy is, Aquarius is associated with freedom. When I think of Aquarius, I think of freedom. I think of just doing whatever it is that you want to do and living your best life while you're doing it. If you know any Aquarians, you know they're innovative, independent. They're also very intelligent. Aquarius is an air sign, so we're dealing with the intellect there. They're very unique. And on the shadow side, Aquarius can be detached. They can be a little impulsive. Aquarius can also be kind of rude. And they can also be known for not necessarily thinking things through before making moves, going back to impulse there. So there are a few points that I want to touch on as far as what is going to be going down for us over the course of the next 5 months by way of the Saturn retrograde energy. And the first is that we're going to be dealing with karmic debts and our karmic rewards. So Saturn is a planet that governs our karma. It governs our foundations, also our paternal relationships, and also our legacy, what we do and what we're known for, okay? So the first thing that I want to go into are these karmic debts and these karmic rewards. The moves that you've made, the actions that you've taken, the interactions that you've had since Saturn stationed direct in 2020, leading up into Saturn stationing going retrograde here in this year, we're going to be seeing a return on those interactions, okay? whether you put out positive energy or whether you put out negative energy. Whatever you were working on, whatever you were thinking about working on, whatever you actually put your mind to and started putting your energy into in the physical conversations that you've had, the way that you communicated with people, all of this stuff is going to be coming back around for you over the course of the next 5 months. So if you were putting in work, especially in regards to your dreams and your goals and your aspirations, over the next 5 months, you're going to slowly start to see opportunities pop up for you. You're going to slowly start to see little resources that you maybe have been waiting for, you've been looking for, that are like key components to the things that you need to get done, start to come in for you, start to make themselves available to you. You're going to see, you know, certain situations that you put work into to shift the energy start to play out in the way that you have intended for it to play out. Now, on the other hand, if you've had negative interactions or you were putting out, you know, dense or stagnant energy, or you weren't moving, you weren't making moves, you weren't doing anything, and not to say that that means that nothing good is going to come for you, but if that is the energy that you were putting out, definitely expect a return on it here, especially in regards to your foundations, like your career, your familial relationships, your romantic or your intimate relationships as well, your friendships, because those are foundational. Your finances, what else? I said career, your living spaces, whatever energies you were putting out, you're going to see a return on that. So if you were not necessarily moving in alignment with your highest good, you're going to see your karma come back around over the course of the next 5 months. And one thing that I want to say about karma, when these things play out, especially when you get, you know, quote unquote bad karma, when you have to deal with bad karma, it's meant to be a lesson. Again, karma, we're dealing with karma. It's meant to be a lesson. So if you are dealing with bad karma over the course of the Saturn retrograde, while you're dealing with it, you do need to take some time to stop and reflect. Why am I dealing with this? What did I do? What type of energy did I put out? What does this karma, what situation does this stem from? Once you get a grip on that, then you need to look and correct what those behaviors were, or at least look and, you know, analyze the situation, especially if it's not something that you can go back and fix. Look at it and make a note to not do those things again, or to start moving in a different way. Karma is going to be heavy, and not necessarily heavy in a bad way, but it's going to be strong. It's going to be a lot of karmic things are going to be happening over the course of the next 5 months. So pay attention to what's going down, especially if you're dealing with bad karma, okay? The next point that I have for this Saturn retrograde is preparing to break free. So I mentioned when I was talking about Aquarius energy that I think of freedom. So because Saturn is foundational, what we're going to be feeling over this retrograde period are how we are dealing and how we are moving with our foundations, and are we in alignment with them. So for a lot of us, especially after the year that we had coming out of 2020, going into the beginning of this year, even now, for a lot of us, we're going to be thinking about things that we want to change. We're going to be thinking about, well, I was doing this before then, but because of this, I had to start moving like this, or I had to start working like this, and this is actually working better for me. But now, because everybody thinks everything is going back to normal, sidebar, you guys, we are still in a panoramic. I know the world is moving like we're not, but we are still very much so in a pandemic. So stay safe out there. But with that being said, with us going back to this new normal, you might be thinking like, well, why do I have to go back to doing things like this when I was doing this for a whole year and it actually worked better for me? It doesn't make sense for me to have to go back into the office. Why can't I work from home? You know, things like that are going to be popping up for us. If you're feeling stuck in a place, or if you've been feeling stuck in a place over the next 5 months, you'll be coming up with ways and really thinking about tapping into that Aquarius intellectual energy, really thinking about, well, how can I get myself out of this rut, or how can I get myself out of this position? How can I move myself from being here in this energy to being here in this energy? So again, when we deal with retrograde energy, especially with outer planets, the social planets, it's not as prominent and in our faces as the personal planets. So when we deal with these energies, we have to really make sure that we're paying attention and taking note, and then making the changes and making the moves in association with the things that we're learning, okay? The last point that I have here for this Saturn retrograde is that we're going to be coming into a way of working smarter and not working harder. Saturn is ruled by Capricorn, okay? It's also ruled by Aquarius. Saturn is actually at home in this retrograde, but it's a different energy from what we were dealing with for the few years before last year, okay? Completely different energy, if you guys have not already noticed, okay? But Saturn being ruled by Capricorn, there's that energy to work, that energy to diligently make moves and get to the goals that we set in place, right? With Aquarius, we're here, we're like, okay, we have these goals, we know what it is that we want to do, we know what we're trying to get to, we know the type of life that we want to be living, right? Saturn being in Aquarius, and with that innovative Aquarian energy coming in, there's going to be this notion to say, okay, this is my goal, this is what I was doing, let me come up with some new ways to achieve this goal, because this is actually going to make whatever I come up with in the end a lot better than what I was dealing with before, or what I was going to do before. So as you get these new ideas, as they pop up, write them down, or as they come in and you have the time and the energy and the space and the resources and the opportunities to take that chance, take the chance. Understand that even though this is a retrograde period, when you're intentional with the work that you're putting in, especially when you're putting it in on the correct side of the reflecting correct energy, you will see these things start to play out in their entirety once Saturn stations direct. Once we hit October, everything that you're working on over the next 5 months, you're going to see things start to play out. You're going to see things start to come in for the energy that you're putting in over this time period, okay? Very quickly, there is one aspect to Uranus that will be going down while we have this retrograde, and it is a square aspect. So that does bring in a little bit more of a restriction, more of this feeling heavy, feeling stuck. As you're making changes, you're always met with resistance. So you might make some moves and you might feel like, oh, these are going to be major moves, they're going to change some things for me, and then you might be hit with an obstacle. Do not become consumed by that. Work through it, okay? Understand that that is Saturn retrograde energy, and you guys, I'll keep it very real. Saturn is not an easy energy to deal with. Take that from somebody who has their chart ruled by Saturn. If you want to know a little bit about that, I am the person to talk to. Saturn is not an easy energy to deal with, but once you have your routines, once you have clarity, once you have a clear path and you actually adhere to it, Saturn energy is a good energy to work with. It's an energy that brings a lot of abundance, a lot of success. So, but just keep in mind that Uranus is going to be adding a little bit more restriction here. However, there's also a trine aspect to Venus, the moon, and the North Node. So that does lift this up a little bit. That does help us out a little bit there, bringing us closer to the things that we're fated for. And it seems like with that particular aspect that they're positive things, okay? Also with that aspect, for the singles, this is a special message, special message for the singles. It could be a special message for some people in relationships too, but you did not hear that from me. This is a time in which past life connections, especially past life love connections, will be coming in. Soulmate connections, karmic connections. So for those of you guys that have been loveless or have not necessarily been in anything serious for a while, I would not be surprised if over the course of the next 5 months, sometime up through October, you meet somebody or you deepen or strengthen a relationship with somebody that you have been thinking about becoming involved with. Put it to you like that. And for those of you that do find yourselves in these karmic connections, these people that you end up mixing and mingling with may be very important. Remember that Saturn is foundational, so however you want to take that, you take it, okay? What else do I got here? On a collective level, going to be a perspective shift with this air energy. Looking at more humanitarian efforts in our societal foundations. Going back to what I was saying about the way that we're working, also in the ways that we commute, and probably the ways that we have access to certain resources, going to be seeing a lot more efforts towards making these things more accessible for us, and making these things, how do I want to put that? Especially in regards to work, making work for us. Put it to you like that. So just be prepared for that. Might see some strikes, might see some things in politics with some policies regarding work, especially a lot around minimum wage is probably going to come in. I will say that. Dealing with Saturn, foundational finances is in there as well. And Aquarius, that humanitarian effort. Just a couple of notes for the why can't I talk now? The astrological energies that we'll be dealing with for this Saturn retrograde. All right, you guys, very quickly, let's talk about the numerology for this Saturn retrograde. It's going to be starting in 13 degrees on a 6th day. So we're dealing with the energy of 13, which breaks down into 4. So, you know, our foundations and manifestation, and it's going to be happening on a 6th day, which is all about building upon these foundations. So we're really going to be feeling the need to reevaluate said foundations in everything, you know, like it's everything Saturn, finances, career, relationships, the home, things of that sort. And as we're reevaluating these foundations, we're going to be looking at how to work towards the changes that we'd like to see implemented, okay? So that is what one of the major themes is going to be for us over the course of this retrograde. The retrograde is ending in 6 degrees on a 7 day. So there's a little bit of progression there, you guys. You see that? With this being said, 7 is the number associated with divinity, truth, and harmony, and spirituality and philosophy. So everything that you're going to be working on over this retrograde period is not going to be for nothing. Once Saturn stations direct, it's going to seem like everything is falling into place. And again, Saturn is kind of a tough energy, so you may feel like you are really running yourself ragged, running yourself thin over the next 5 months. Try not to give into that, especially because if you watch in this video, you'll be aware of the fact that it is tough, heavy ass paternal Saturn energy. So just keep that in mind and understand that once we hit October and the following months, things that you're working on and things that you're going to be feeling like you're burning yourself out with, they're going to start to fall into place. So don't give up is really what I was trying to say with that. You're also going to be learning a lot about yourselves on an individual level and a lot about the way that life works. Your life philosophies are going to be coming in. You'll be learning things and learning a lot about how you look at the world and look at life over the retrograde period as well. Okay. And so that's really all I got for you guys. Again, this is a social and an outer planet, so we're not really going to see these effects in our faces right off the bat. They're going to play out over the course of time. What do I got here? Over the course of time, over 5 months, as I keep saying over the course of this video. The people that will be seeing major transformation with this Saturn retrograde are people with Saturn ruled charts, Aquarius, Capricorn, hella Aquarius and Capricorn placements in your chart, or heavy Capricorn, Aquarius, Saturn aspects in your charts. For everybody, anywhere that you have degree placements of 6 to 13 degrees or within that orb, you will be seeing changes depending on where it's placed in your chart, what house, what it aspects to, okay? There was one other thing I wanted to say with this too. And people that have Saturn in retrograde, this is actually, in your natal charts, this is actually going to be a very, if you use the energy correctly, this is going to be a really poppin' and progressive time for you. So take a look at your natal charts and see what this transit has in store for you, okay? What else do I want to tell y'all before I go? Nothing much other than what videos to watch. We are in retrograde season, so check out all of my retrograde videos. There's a playlist down below for the retrograde videos. With that being said, that means I'm having a retrograde tarot reading sale. So if you want a reading for any retrograde that we have currently, you can book one with me through my Etsy shop, which I will have linked down below. We are also now in eclipse season, so I have an eclipse playlist too. You can watch the videos there. I'll be adding them as we come up on those lunations. Also having an eclipse tarot reading sale as well. Again, link down below. You book through my Etsy shop if you are interested. Hella June videos up, tarot forecast, pick a card reading, whatever else I upload in the month of June. My birthday's at the end of this month, by the way, you guys. It'll be my golden birthday. I don't know why I said that like that, but I'll be 29 on the 29th, so book a reading. Support a young G. Tell me happy birthday by booking a reading. And I am going to be putting up a COVID reading. I think it's number 4. I took a vacation, took a little break, so I did not upload that when I wanted to or when I had planned to. But you know, when you need to take a break, you take a break. So I'll be uploading the COVID number 4 reading, especially because things are looking a little interesting right now. So see what's going down with that. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you are still here watching this video, go on and click that little thumbs up, the like button for me. And if you want to know more about the astrology and what these transits mean on an energetic level, or want some free readings, or want to know what's going on with the new moons and the full moons and whatever else it is that I upload, go on and hit the subscribe button and keep up with me. Again, thank you for tuning in. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.